I now have the honor to give the floor to the Honorable Representative of the United Republic of Tanzania, Mrs. Terezya Huvisa. She is Minister of State in the Vice President's office. Mrs. Huvisa, you have the floor, please.
Thank you very much for the opportunity given. Mr. Chairperson, first and foremost, allow me to take this opportunity to convey warm regards from the government and people of the United Republic of Tanzania on the occasion of the fourth session of the Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction, and to register my sincere gratitude for the invitation extended to me and my delegation to participate in this crucial meeting. We believe that the session provides yet another opportunity to review our collective commitments for the purpose of tackling together disaster-related issues. Mr. Chairperson, the United Republic of Tanzania has continued to experience a number of disasters which depicts a growing proneness of the country to both natural and man-made disasters. The recent events include drought, floods, epidemics, fire, road, marine accidents, civil war due to water scarcity between the farmers and pastoralists, as well as collapse of buildings. All this led to loss of lives and disruption of livelihoods and economic activities in our country. We are very much concerned about the increased magnitude, frequency, impact, severity, and country's vulnerability to disasters. We are also concerned about the lack of mechanism to reduce vulnerability, to prepare for events that may occur, and to respond to the people's needs in an effective and timely manner once the disasters has occurred. Mr. Chairperson, the United Republic of Tanzania has benefited a lot from Hyogo Framework of Action 2005 to 2015. The framework has served our country as main point of reference in devising and reviewing plans, policy programs, and strategy on disaster risk reduction. In the process of implementing the Hyogo Framework of Action, the government has undertaken rigorous capacity development for ministries, departments, agencies, disaster focal points, and regional and district disaster management committees. The country has also made disaster risk reduction a priority in disaster management policy and strategy by integrating disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation and mitigation into the second national strategy for growth and reduction of poverty. In Swahili, we call it Mkukuta 2. The 5-year development plan and Zanzibar strategy for economic growth and poverty reduction, which is known as Mkuza 2. In collaboration with various stakeholders, we have developed the National Emergency Preparedness and Response Plans and National Disaster Communication Strategy, which put in place standards and procedures to be adopted by all stakeholders before and during the time of emergency. The government has also reviewed the National Avian and Pandemic Influenza Emergency Preparedness and Response Plan and developed the Rift Valley Fever Emergency Preparedness and Response Plan. We are now in the process of revitalizing the institutional capacity for disaster risk reduction by formulating a new act that will provide more mandate and effective disaster management agency. In addition, we have also established disaster risk reduction platform at national level, with the aim of having the same forum at local level. Mr. Chairperson, Tanzania is actively strengthening international, regional, and bilateral partnership to develop this disaster risk reduction capacity in various terms in the realization of Hyogo Framework for Action. Tanzania collaborates with regional bodies like African Union, SADC, East African Community, and Indian Ocean Commission on various issues related to disasters. Tanzania has been among the member states involved in the process of establishing the East African Community sub-region platforms and sub-regional disaster risk reduction coordination mechanism. The country has also participated in the development of the draft for East African Community Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Strategy. The government of United Republic of Tanzania attaches high priority to local capacity building, and with the support from our development partner, we have started to conduct risk, vulnerability, and capacity assessment and develop emergency preparedness and response plan at district level. The aim is to roll out the plans to grassroots level so that we can have disaster-resilient communities. Mr. Chairperson, in spite of our efforts and commitment to achieve the Hyogo Framework for Action goals, Tanzania faces a number of challenges that we believe need collective responsibility and strong partnership to address. Some of these challenges are as follows. 1, inadequate skilled personnel and modern technology to address disaster risk management issue. B, the level of education and awareness to our local people. C, inadequate research on disaster risk reduction and poor disaster risk reduction information packaging and flow to low level. D, funds constrained to address all issues along the disaster management cycle and disaster risk reduction framework, especially at local level. E, challenges posed by rapid urbanization due to rural-urban migration coupled with increased population. F, lack of full-time National Emergency Operations Center to monitor and coordinate the disaster operations in the country. G, increasing effects of climate change, which results into prolonged drought and floods. And lastly, lack of expertise and modern equipment of research and rescue during emergencies. But also, I would like to talk a little bit about the indigenous knowledge, because in our local communities, this is the most prominent knowledge which is used by our local people to focus the risk which are occurring by using biological means, that is using behavior of animals. For example, we have one bed where during nesting, if the nest is put at the top of the tree, this means that we will have floods. But if the nest will be at the lowest position of tree and just near to the river, that means that the drought will be coming. So this is biological means. But then with climate change, all these are washed away and the problems is being strengthened further. But together with that, there is lack of considering gender needs and priorities in disaster risk reduction strategies. There is a need to consider gender issues in African context due to gender responsibilities, especially to women who are always taking care of the children, elders, sick persons, people with disabilities. And this is very important because during disaster, women cannot run away themselves without carrying babies or without taking care of the sick persons. They have to run away with these children, so they have to be informed. They have to be given knowledge on disaster risk management, and also they have to be empowered so that during disaster risk they can move frequently or freely. In conclusion, Mr. Chairperson, please allow me to commend the good work done by the UNISDR Secretariat for technical support to the national platform in our country. We appeal for a great deal of global efforts to mitigate and negative effects from disaster through international cooperation. We believe supporting our efforts to strengthen capacity of local community in terms of policies, plans, procedures, systems, training of our people, and interoperability of mechanism is of paramount importance. Let us all work together for building our capacities to deal with disasters. I thank you all for your kind attention.
I thank you for your presentation, for your contribution.